is it about you that draws you to these very complicated, interconnected narratives? I mean, a lot of artists and writers and directors focus on the unities, or sort of, want to go very deep into one time,
Yeah.
space, and
Yeah.
character.
Well,
But
I,
you were
I'd
often
s-
pulling from
yeah.
all over the place to
What I do
make
is
a
very
piece.
baroque, and there's a freedom in baroqueness that comes from my influence from the Japanese theater. I spent a lot of time in Japan. I worked there a lot. I did a
When
lot
was
of.
that?
The first time I went to Japan was in 1992, and I did a lot of work there. I worked in Japanese theater. I directed Japanese actors. I would see the kabuki, no, gagaku, bunraku. I researched that a lot. I was very influenced by Ariane Mushkin's work, who was very influenced by Japanese theater for a while, and I still do stuff over there. So I'm very interested in Japanese theater. And what's so fantastic in Japanese theater is that it looks very traditional and rigid and has rules and vocabulary, but it's extremely permissive. It's one of the most permissive thing you can, even in traditional kabuki, or it's incredibly permissive. You could change styles and stuff, and if there's a scene that has to be acted in a hyper-realistic way, then everybody switches to that mode of acting, and then after that, everything's stylized, and it's extremely free. And I feel that we have this terrible thing in the West where we see a Chekhov, and we want to believe that these three sisters come from the same place and that they're from the same blood, which of course they're not, and they come from the same acting school. So everybody has to, and and it's like, and we're all like this, I'm going, not that one. And it goes to the point where you have the Redgrave sisters play the three sisters, because now they all have the same names, so we're obsessed by unity of style and all of that. And yes, that's all nice, but I'm more interested in the messy stuff where people come in and they throw something, and you go, wow, and that's Japanese theater. A lot of it is like that. It's so, in the kabuki, there's this great thing where you have a costume designer that designs the stuff, but the big star doesn't. His costume's not designed by this guy. He has his own personal designer, and often it's Issey Miyake, or it's Yamamoto, whoever, who does this thing. And when he comes in, there's this ramp, and they open that, and people applaud, but they don't just applaud the guy, they applaud the choice he made for himself for that character. So there's a lot of permission, and with all these odd things. I remember I was working at the Tokyo Globe, actually the Panasonic Tokyo Globe, where they had all this Shakespeare stuff going on way before the Globe was rebuilt in London. And they would say, okay, you're doing Tempest. Yes, okay. So for the lovers, we get Western-style actors to do the lovers. And then we get this great bunraku puppeteer to do this other thing. And then we get this traditional kabuki guy to do the king. And they have this kind of way of mixing up styles of, and you get a mishmash of, it's as if we decided to do an O'Neill play with a guy that's trained at Lecoq, and the other one who did Stanislavski, and another one did Actor Studio, and we never do that.